This conference will now be recorded.
Now, so in the last session, we have discussed about the SOQL queries, and we have discussed what exactly the SOQL query and what is the use, and what are the various classes that we have as part of this SOQL query, and what is the syntax we need to follow, and what are the various limitations or the boundary limits has been introduced by Salesforce as part of SOQL queries we have discussed. And upon using this SOQL query, what are the various best practices we need to follow, we have discussed. And then we have discussed about how many ways are there to write that SOQL query. Now, so that already we have discussed, whenever if you want to invoke the SOQL queries, we have two ways. First one, by using the query editor, which has been given by Salesforce as part of developer console. And the second one, with the help of Apex programming language also, we can able to invoke the SOQL queries. These are the two ways available. By using the query editor also, we can invoke the SOQL queries and we can execute that, we can see the results. And the second mechanism is Apex programming. Through programming also, we can able to execute the SOQL queries. Okay, now. So now let's see how can we prepare this SOQL query and how to execute, how to see the results by using query editor first. Then we'll go with that Apex programming. How to invoke that SOQL queries through Apex programming, and we'll see the various types of SOQL queries also as part of Apex programming. Okay, now let's see. How can we write this SOQL query by using the query editor? Now let me explain. You know the concept here. So we have to go to the developer console. You know how to open the developer console editor. Go to the developer console editor. In this editor, you are having a tab bar which will be available, okay, in the middle of the editor. In the tab bar, you are having so many tabs like logs tab, test tab, checkpoints, query editor, problems, progress, view state, like that the various tabs are available to you. So now here from these tabs, I would like to go to a tab called as query editor tab. So this is the query editor tab is available. By using this query editor tab, we can able to write the SOQL queries as well as SOSL queries also both. For the testing purpose, okay, for the testing purpose, we can use this editor where we can write some SOQL queries inside this editor and we can execute it. We can verify whether it is working properly or not. So in order to write the SOQL queries, we are going to be using this query editor tab. Now, in this query editor tab, we are having the various parts are available. Now, when you go to this query editor tab, we are having the query window. So this is the part which is called as the query window. Inside this query window, we can able to write your SOQL query or SOSL query, both. In order to execute the SOQL queries or SOSL queries, we are using this query editor. So inside this query window, we can able to write your SOQL query. Once the query has been getting prepared, then we can able to execute the query by using the button called as execute button, which is available at the bottom left corner. At the bottom left corner, we are having the execute button in order to execute that SOQL query which we have written inside this. And then upon executing this SOQL query, if there is any syntactical mistakes, that means upon writing that column name, if we did any mistake, if you have given some wrong column names, if you have did some mistakes upon preparing the query, then what are those parsing errors are available, those parsing errors will be getting visible inside this window. This is called as the error window. In this error window, we can able to see the error messages here. What are the parsing errors are available? Those error messages we can see inside this error window. Suppose if there is no errors are available, then the query will be getting executed, results will be getting visible to you, those results you can able to see inside this result window. So this is the result window that we have. In this result window, we can able to see the records which has been written by your SOQL query. Okay. So now this is the editor which has been given by Salesforce. We have the query window, error window, result window. Okay. So now we will see the results inside this result window over here. Now let's see how can we write your SOQL queries. How can we test it? Okay. Now let's see practically in this case. Okay. Clear up to this part? Now let's see. So let's write some SOQL queries inside this. Now tell me what is the syntax we need to follow to prepare the SOQL query? What is the statement we need to use? Select statement. Select after that column names by separating comma. If the column is if the field is a custom field, then what we can do? Do I need to specify field label or field name? Field name. Don't use the field labels. Field labels are only for display purpose. If it is a custom field, then what we can specify inside the query? Field label or API name? API name. Okay, don't specify the field labels. Field labels are only for display purpose. That's what here, during our initial concept itself, clearly I told you that. So whenever we are going to be using the fields, whenever we are having the properties of that fields, at that time, the field labels are only for the display purpose. So now always we have to use field name or API name to refer the fields through programming. I've given the clear note point during our initial concept of the Apex programming itself. Starting classes of admin classes. Okay. Now let's see how can we write our own SOQL queries right now. Okay. Now, so write an SOQL query. Write an SOQL query to fetch all account record IDs, comma name, rating, industry, annual revenue, active status values. I want to collect all the account record details. Okay, I want to collect all the account record details where I want the account record ID, name value, rating value, industry, annual revenue, active status. These are the columns information I want. Remaining columns information I don't want now. Now tell me how can we write this SOQL query now? Okay. Now select ID, comma name, rating, industry, annual revenue. Can I specify the space over here? Annual space revenue. Can I give like this one? No, because column names are always single words. Now next, active status. What is that field name? Active underscore from account. That's it. Okay. So now specify that select statement. I would like to select the data from my account object. What columns data? ID column, name column, rating column, industry column, annual revenue, and the active status column information I would like to fetch from account object. Okay. Now, suppose for example, if you don't know that field name, then where we can refer? Suppose I don't know some field names, then where we can refer that? View fields also, that is one way. Schema builder, second way. Developer console, third way. Data loader, fourth way. Fifth way is we can able to use that post-account quick access menu also. Multiple mechanisms are available to know the field names here. Okay. So now once I am writing this query, then what we can do? How can we execute that? Click on execute button. As soon as once I click on execute button, my query will be getting executed and all the data will be getting visible to you inside the result window. Okay. Inside the result window, it is going to be displaying all the results information. In my account object, totally 38 records are available. These are the 38 records information is available to you over here. Okay, these are the records information that we have. So I'm collecting all these records information. How many records? 38 records information I have collected over here. Okay, clear? Now tell me, can I modify the record values here? Can I change some record values? Okay, edit now. Yes. How to edit this one? Directly just double click on that column. ID value we can't modify. Remaining column values we can modify that. How to modify? Let me show you. Now Shyam Kumar. Now for this one there is no rating. I'm indicating that. Just double click on this one. Specify the value. Industry I'm giving like some value. Annual revenue I'm giving like some 20 lakhs. Active status I'm giving like some yes. Now for the parent account to test, for this one I'm giving that industry name. Instead of indication I'm indicating like as consulting. Okay, consulting. Now see, so now what column values are modified is clearly indicating with a red color indication over here. Okay, red color indication is indicating that these are the columns information which you have modified, but these changes are not committed back to the database here. These are not reflected back to the database over here. Okay, just you are modified in the user interface level, not in the database. Now here I'm changing this value. Now for this one I'm changing the value from hot to cold. I'm changing this value. For this record, pyramid construction incorporation, I'm indicating the rating as some 1. And for this one, I'm giving that value as hard. And I'm giving the annual revenue value like as some 56 lakhs. How many records I have modified now? This is 1 record, second, third, fourth, fifth. 5 records I have modified. Okay. Now how can we commit these changes back to the database? You will be having that button called as now save rows. Okay, at the bottom, okay, left corner you are having that button called as save rows. Now, as soon as once you click on save rows button, it will collect each and every record values. These are committing back to the database automatically. Click on save rows. Now every record has been committed back to the database automatically. All the records have been committed back to the database. So by using developer console also we can able to modify the records. Can we remove the record from this developer console? Yes. How? Just to select the record. Click on that record. You will be having a button called as delete rows. Click on delete rows. Now it is asking for the confirmation. Yes. I want to remove the record. Record has been removed. Okay. Like that here, not only displaying the records, we can able to modify, we can able to remove the records also. Okay. For example, I want to open this record information directly. Just to select the record, you will be having the option called as open detail page. Once you click on open detail page, the record information will be getting open for you directly. Directly, the user can able to redirect to the record information. That possibility is available to you. So that by using the developer console, we can able to list out the records and we can modify, we can delete, we can create, we can view, we can perform all the operations also. That possibility is available as part of developer console. Okay, clear? No. So let me place this for you. Next one. So write one more query. Write an SOQL query to fetch all the lead records information. I'm not indicating the column names. You know lead record column names here. What columns are there inside my lead object? ID column. Okay, common. Next. First name, last name, title, email, status, company, phone, fax, and then we are having website, and then city information, state information, all these things. Now start writing that query. I'm writing the query. Select that ID column, first name column, last name, email, title, company, status, phone, fax, from lead. Okay. From the lead object, I'm collecting all this data. So let me copy that. Yeah.
If we not write their ID, then it can be selected automatically.
No.
ID column.
What are the columns you have specified? Only those columns data will be getting returned to me, not the remaining columns data. No. Now click on execute. So now it is collecting the data. Totally we are having 630 lead records are available inside my lead object. All the lead records are getting visible to us inside my developer console query result window. So we can able to see what all the records are available inside our object by using this developer console. Okay, clear? Now let's write few more queries here. Write an SOQL query to fetch all the user's information from the object. For the user, what kind of details are available generally? Upon creating a Salesforce account, we have entered the details over there itself. First name, last name, username, email, title, and then is active column. These are all are available. Okay. Now start writing that query.
So continue star after
No,
star
no. Star will not be supporting the Salesforce. In the other databases, star will be supporting. Okay. But here star will not be supporting. Now, I'm collecting the user details. User ID value, first name, last name, email, title, username, and then is active from user object. Click on execute. We can see whatever the users are available. Those users information we can able to collect from my object. Whatever the user records are available, all the user records information we can collect. Done? Now, so let's write one more query. Write an SOQL query to fetch all the email templates available in the organization. Now, all the email templates information is available in which object? Email template object. So what fields are available? Email template, email template. No, email template, email template. Email template will be having ID, name of that email template. In that email template, what we are specifying? Subject, content. Content will be in the form of what is the column name? What is the column name? Body column. Next. What kind of template it is? I want to know. Is it a text type or HTML or what? I want to know. For that one, there is a column called as template type. Okay, template type is a column here. Okay, by using that column name, we can understand what type of email template it is. Okay, we can fetch all the information by using that SOQL query. Now, so let's write that query here. Select the ID of the email template, name of the email template, description, subject of the email template, body of the email template, template type from email template object. Now, so when I click on execute button, I can able to see all the email templates information. So these are the various email templates are available. Email template ID will be always starting with a 00x. Now the name of that email template and the description of that template, subject and the content, template type. What type of template it is? Is it a text type, HTML, custom, or Visual Force? What type of template it is? We can able to identify by using that template type column. Okay, clear? Now the next one. Write one more query. Write an SOQL query to fetch all the Apex classes. I want to fetch all the Apex classes information available inside my organization. What Apex classes that we have built as of now, I would like to fetch all the Apex classes information. This whole information is storing in which object? Apex class object. What columns are there? ID column, name of that Apex class. Every Apex class will be having one code, nothing but Apex class code will be available. Whatever the statement that you are written, whatever the variables, the methods you have defined, everything will be available inside a separate column that is called as body column. Okay, ID column, name column, body column. Okay, reference type in the sense.
Which class is referred to the
No, we no need to specify that. Simply we can get that Apex class information.
there is a one column is a reference.
Reference type in the sense of where exactly you are referencing that Apex class. We can indicate that.
When we open the class, at that time it shows.
There we can see that information, but that will be in a different object. Okay. Now, so let's see that SOQL query. ID of the Apex class, name of the Apex class, body from Apex class object. Click on execute and we can see all the classes which are prepared here in the past. All the Apex classes information we can able to see, okay, which we have inside our organization. Okay, all this Apex classes information we can see. Clear? Now, next one. Write an SOQL query to fetch all the hiring manager records information. Write an SOQL query to fetch all the hiring manager records information. whatever the hiring manager records are available inside my object, I want to collect all those records and I want to represent inside my developer console in the tabular format. No. In hiring manager object, what kind of fields we have prepared? ID, name is common, okay. Location, email ID, contact number, okay. Phone number field. Okay, these are the fields are available. We can specify. Select the ID of the hiring manager, name, location underscore C, contact number underscore C, email ID underscore C, PAN number underscore C. From hiring manager object. From hiring manager. I'm executing this SOQL query. I'm executing this SOQL query. Click on execute. We can see the results also. Totally, I'm having 371 records are available inside my object. So all the records are written by this SOQL query. Like this, how many records my SOQL query can return maximum? 50,000. Here is the limitation given by Salesforce. SOQL query can return maximum of 50,000 records, not more than that. Even though you are having more number of records inside your object, it will return only the 50,000 records which are available inside your object. Then which records it will fetch dynamically, randomly it will pick up that. We can't say the first 50,000 records it will return, not like that. Randomly it will pick up. Okay.
Can we include any filters? For example, location as Pune.
We can include that. Because here we are having the classes. We'll see. Okay. How to include that classes, everything we'll see. Each and every class will see. Okay. Clear? Comfortable upon preparing the SOQL queries? Now, as of now, we have prepared the SOQL queries by using the query editor, and then we have prepared the query, we have executed the query, we are able to get the results also. But not only executing the SOQL queries from the developer console, we can execute it through programming also. By using Apex programming also, we can able to execute the SOQL queries. How can we execute through Apex programming? Whenever we are going to be executing the SOQL queries by using Apex programming, Apex has subcategorized these SOQL queries into two types. Apex programming has subdivided the SOQL queries into two types. First one is static SOQL queries. Second one, dynamic SOQL queries. Okay, static SOQL, dynamic SOQL. Then what is this static SOQL? How to prepare? What is this dynamic SOQL? How to prepare? What is the difference between static SOQL, dynamic SOQL? Okay, now let's see practically over here. Okay, now. So now let's make a note of this one. We can make a note here. We can invoke the SOQL queries by using Apex programming also. Apex programming also. Apex programming has subdivided the SOQL queries into two types. The first one is static SOQL queries. Second one is dynamic SOQL queries. Static SOQL and dynamic SOQL. These are the two types of SOQL queries are available in Apex programming. Static SOQL, dynamic SOQL. Now then, what is the static SOQL? What is this dynamic SOQL? So what is this static SOQL? What is this dynamic SOQL? Okay, now let's see practically. Now tell me, static means what generally? Fixed. Okay, fixed one, which we can't change. Okay, which we can't change. Now, whenever you are preparing the SOQL query, so whenever you are preparing the query, upon preparation of the query itself, we have to specify all the column names. What columns information you would like to fetch, what filters you want to apply. That means what classes you want to apply. It may be where class, order by, group by, having, all rows, whatever the classes you want to apply. Upon preparing the query itself, we have to specify everything. Okay. Upon preparing the query itself, you have to specify everything. All the column names you have to specify. What columns information you want to fetch, specify those column names here upon preparing the query itself. What conditions you want to apply, specify the conditions also upon preparing the query itself. Because we can't include these column names and conditions at runtime. There is no possibility here. Because there is no possibility. In static SOQL query, the query will be fixed. Okay, the query will be fixed. We can't include that column names at runtime. We can't include that conditions at runtime. The query will be fixed one always. Upon preparing the query itself, we have to specify what columns data you would like to fetch and what conditions you would like to apply, what classes you want to apply. Everything we have to specify upon preparing the query itself. At runtime, we can't decide that. Okay, but there may be some exceptional cases where I need to add the conditions at runtime. Okay, I need to add the conditions at runtime. Now, let me explain. For example, assume that I'm searching for a job. Okay, I'm searching for a job. So I'm done with my course. I'm searching for a job. I'm ready with my profile also. Now I'm searching for some jobs on Salesforce in Hyderabad location for some 3 years experience. Then what we can do, generally we are going to the naukri.com and then search that information. Now tell me based on how many columns you can search the information here. Based on designation or technical skills, location, experience, salary. These are the 4 criteria they have given. Now tell me, is it mandatory to supply all these things? No. For example here, I'm indicating that only Salesforce developer. When I click on search button, what jobs will be getting returns to you? All the jobs available on Salesforce. For which location? All the locations. Hyderabad, Bangalore, Pune, Chennai, everywhere, all the locations. That means what? After entering these particular technical skills, when I click on the search button, it is applying the condition on what? On the technical skills over here. Okay, based on that Salesforce. That means whatever the jobs are available in which in the technologies, if it is having the keywords Salesforce developer, it is collecting those jobs information. It won't bother about it is Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, Pune. It won't verify that. Simply it will be verified. In this job description, they have used the keyword Salesforce developer or not. If it is available, it will return the jobs information. Okay. For example, I'm indicating that here. Location, some Hyderabad. Now tell me, when I click on search button, what will happen now? It will return only those jobs which are available on Salesforce developer technology and with the Hyderabad location only. For Pune jobs, it won't return. Bangalore jobs, it won't return. Only the Hyderabad jobs, it will return. That means how many conditions are applied over here? 2 conditions. One is our technical skills, second one is our location column. For example, so now here I'm having that 4 years experience. When I click on search now then, how many conditions it will apply now? 3 conditions. Now here I'm selecting that salary, like some more than some 10 lakhs. Now, how many conditions? 4. Now tell me what happened in this case. How many values the user will enter? In all the columns, the user will enter the value? No. Sometimes I'm searching for the job, okay, only on Salesforce here. I'm not having any location constraint. I will go to any location also, no problem here. Because I'm a bachelor, so I will go to any location also. Sometimes I'm having the location constraint because I'm having my family. So I want to stay in Hyderabad only for some time. So that here I'm looking for the job only in Hyderabad. That means you're adding some conditions. Now depends upon the values which you have entered, the conditions will be get added dynamically at runtime. Suppose if I'm adding the values for these three columns over here. Technical skills and the location and then number of years of experience, it is adding the conditions, three conditions will add here. Upon preparing the query, three conditions will be getting added. For example, if I'm entering the value like this here. In this case, how many conditions it will apply now? Only one. That means what? Depends upon the input values the user has entered, conditions will be getting added at one time. Okay? If I'm entering the value for 2 text boxes, 2 conditions will add it. If I'm passing the value for 4 text boxes, 4 conditions will add it. That means it dynamically will be adding the conditions. In this case, we can go with that dynamic SOQL query, where we can able to add the condition dynamically. Query is not fixed one. Okay, we can keep on add the conditions also dynamically at runtime. At that time, depends upon your requirement. You want to make all the column names and the conditions are fixed, then go with the static SOQL. If you want to include the conditions dynamically at runtime, then you can go with that dynamic SOQL query. So that query I am going to preparing at runtime. What are the conditions you want to add at runtime? We can able to add the condition. What are the columns you want to add? We can add at runtime over here. The column names and the conditions we can able to add at runtime if it is a dynamic SOQL query. But for static SOQL query, this kind of facility will not be available to you. So this will be a fixed one. Upon preparing the query itself, we have to specify what columns you want to include, okay, what column information you want to fetch. Upon preparing the query itself, we have to specify the columns information here. At runtime, these column names we can't include. Okay. Now, let me show you one more example here. For example, I'm using the developer console, or else I'm going to be using the feature called as workbench. Okay, workbench. So I'm using the workbench tool here. By using this workbench tool also, if you are facing difficulty to prepare SOQL queries, you can use the workbench. It will prepare the query for you. Okay. So I want to prepare the queries here. Go to the workbench tool. Go to the queries. We are having an option called as SOQL query. Now, based on what object information, okay, based on what object information you would like to prepare the query. You can select the object name. Here, this is the object name. You can select that object name. All the object names are populated. I want to prepare that query based on that account object. Whenever I'm selecting the object, automatically columns will be getting populated. Okay. Now, I'm selecting the columns over here. I want to select that columns. What columns data you want to fetch? I'm holding the columns here. Now click on ID. Now after this one, query has been prepared or not here? Select ID from. Now, align with that. I would like to fetch the name column also. Hold the control key, select the second column here. Now tell me, column has been added into the query dynamically runtime or not? Yes. Now, along with that, I want to collect the rating column also. Column has been added dynamically runtime. And then I would like to select the industry column also. Industry column. And then ID, industry column, rating column, phone column, type column, website column, name column, and active status column, annual revenue column. All this information. Whatever the columns we have selected, based on that column name which are selected, the query has been getting prepared. The columns have been getting added inside my query. I want to add the conditions also. Based on what columns you want to apply the conditions, I want only those account records whose rating value is equals to some code. For that one, select the conditions. I'm selecting the condition, I'm applying the condition based on a column called as rating column. Rating value equals to, we can select the operator over equals to, I would like to specify the value. Rating value equals to 1. Okay, 1. So now here you can able to click on that add button here. So automatically the query has been getting added here where rating equals to 1. Okay, where rating equals to 1. The condition has been getting added over here. That means what? Dynamically at runtime the query is building over here. The columns are adding dynamically at runtime. Conditions are also adding dynamically at runtime. Once this entire query has been getting ready, then click on query button so that we can execute the query, we can get the data, we can see the results inside this place itself. We can see all the records information, whatever we have received over here. Okay, so now here it is collecting the data over here. Now return the records 1 to 10 of 10. Total 10 records are available, which have been collected in 0.235 seconds. Okay. So now in this case, it is not taking even the 1 second also here. Okay, 235 milliseconds it is taking right now. For example, I'm not adding any condition over here. Remove this condition, where class. Now click on query. We can able to collect all the data also over here. Now 37 records are available, which have been collected over here. Okay, these are the records information is available. So now if you want to see the record information, just click on that particular record over here. Now it is indicating that. If you want to remove the record, what operation you want to do? Undelete, okay, update the record, delete the record, undelete, purge, view in Salesforce. If you want to view the record in Salesforce, just click on this one, record will be getting opened automatically in your Salesforce editor over here. You can see the record information. Okay. So now all the options are available. That means what? Depends upon the number of columns I am going to be specified, selecting over here. Automatically query will be getting prepared. It is adding the conditions at runtime, and we need to click on the query button to execute that query. Okay, clear? So now when coming to static SOQL query, upon preparing the query itself, we have to specify all the columns. Upon typing the query itself, we have to specify all the columns information, all the conditions information. At runtime, we can't add. There is no possibility. But if it is a dynamic SOQL query, dynamically at runtime, we can able to add the columns and then conditions also. That possibility will be available. Okay, clear? Now, this is the first major difference between static and dynamic SOQL queries. Okay, now let's see the concept of static SOQL queries. What are the other features are available for the static SOQL queries? Okay, now make a note here. In this approach, upon preparing the query, we need to specify required columns information, required column names, and conditions to be get applied to filter the records. In this approach, upon preparing the query, we need to specify the required column names and the conditions to be get applied to filter the records. While typing the query itself, we have to specify the column names and we have to specify the conditions also to be get applied. We can't include the column names and conditions at runtime in this case. Okay, in this case, we can't include that column name. Once the query has been formed, then we can't change that query again here. There is no possibility. Okay, clear? Now, in this case, the second functionality of static SOQL. Whenever we are preparing the static SOQL query, then how can we indicate this is a static SOQL query? Okay, now let's see. Static SOQL query should be always enclosed inside that square braces. Okay, always enclosed inside that square braces. For example, assume that I'm preparing a query here. Select ID of that account record, name, rating, industry, annual revenue, active status from account. I want to make this query as a static query. Just you can able to enclose this one inside a square brace. That's it. This is a static SOQL query. Static SOQL query should be always enclosed inside that square braces. Okay. Now, in this case, whenever I'm going to be enclosing that SOQL query inside the square braces, automatically query will be getting executed. No need to invoke that query. But in this case, what we did, till I have clicked on that, until I'm not clicking this query button, the query will not execute. When you go to my Naukri.com also, okay, when you go to my Naukri.com also, so now after entering some data, until or unless you are not click on the search button, data will not be getting searched over here. That means what? These are dynamic SOQL queries which we need to invoke manually. But if it is a static SOQL queries will be executing automatically by its own. Okay, static SOQL queries are executing by its own. So that whenever I'm specifying this SOQL query inside my square braces, automatically the query will be executing automatically by default, which will be returning the results to you. So no need to invoke that static SOQL query manually by your own. That will be executing automatically by its own. Okay, clear? Now make a note of this one here. Static SOQL query should be always enclosed inside the square braces. Inside the square braces. The syntax is we can specify. Part of the SOQL query that you want, we can specify. We can split the query to the multiple lines also. We can write like this also. No need to write that entire query in a single line. We can split it to the multiple lines also. That possibility is there. Done? Now, so now when coming to the static SOQL query, whenever I'm enclosing that SOQL query inside that square braces, automatically query will be getting executed. Okay, so no need to invoke that static SOQL queries manually. It will be invoking automatically by default. Okay, so once the query has been getting executed, immediately it is going to be returning the results back. Okay, now make a note of it. Static SOQL queries will get invoked automatically by default. Automatically by default. Static SOQL queries will get invoked automatically by default. No need to execute that static SOQL query manually by your own. That will be executing automatically. Now, once the query has been getting executed, it will return some records, right? Will be returning some records. Yes. How many records it will return? Maximum of 50,000 records it will return. Okay. Now, let me explain. Okay. Now, for example, assume that I have an object. I have an object. So this is my account object here. So in my account object, I'm having one record. Only one account record is available inside my object. Okay. Now, I'm writing one SOQL query. Okay, I'm writing one SOQL query. So this is the SOQL query I'm writing here, which is a static SOQL query. Select ID of the account, name, rating, industry, annual revenue from account. So this is the query I have written. Now tell me, how many records my query will return now? How many records? One record. Why? Because table is having only one record. What record it will return to you? What record? Contact record, account record, or what? Account record. Now, that means I am getting one account record. Once you are getting one account record, how can we store? Where we can store this one? For example, assume that I am having one integer value. How can we store? By defining a variable of that integer type, like integer some x. We can store that value. I'm receiving one value, one country name I'm receiving, like as of Australia. How can we store? String. String, because I'm giving a variable name, country name equals to, I can store that value. I'm receiving one account record. How can we store? Account. Account ACC. In that variable, we can able to store. Okay. Now, in this case, what happened? For example, so I'm receiving one hiring manager record, where we can store hiring manager, some HR. Inside this variable, we can store. Like the similar way, my query returns how many records to you? One record. How can we store? How can we store? String? No. It is returning only one account record. Now to store this account record, what I am using here? Some account variable. Here also can you define one account variable here? Yes. Here this just define that account variable here. Account some ACC. That's it. That's it. Over. Okay. So now in this case, what happened? Whenever I'm going to be executing this SOQL query, if the query is returning one record, then to store that one record, we need one variable, right? If it is a single record, then we can just define that account variable. To store a single integer value, I'm defining one integer variable. To store a string value, I'm defining one string variable. To store one account record, I'm defining one account variable. To store one HR record, I'm defining one HR variable. That's it. Like the similar way. Because these are the data types, nothing else. Now this data types will be storing one value. This data type will store one complete account record inside this here. But now my query is returning one account record. To store that account record, I'm using the variable called as ACC. Okay, clear? Understood the concept here? Whenever I'm executing an SOQL query, okay, whenever I'm executing an SOQL query, if the query returns only one record, then I'm going to storing that record by defining the variable of that associated type. So here it is collecting the data from the account object here. Query is collecting the data from account, so that I'm defining an account variable. Suppose if the query is collecting the data from the position object, then what is the variable we need to define here? Position object variable. That's it. Simple concept. Okay. So now depends upon the records we are collecting from the object, the respective variable we need to define. That's it. Okay, you know that concept here. So now account is a data type which can able to store one account record here. Now I'm defining a variable of that account type. In this variable, I'm storing this value. Okay, clear? Now, so now again in this case. Now, so this is the ACC variable, okay, in which the complete account record has been written. For example, assume that this is my account record values. So this is my account record values. ID value, name value, rating, industry, and the annual revenue. So these are my record values. My record ID is 001344. Name is some Ram Kumar. Rating is some heart. Industry is some energy. Annual revenue some 14 lakhs. Now, so here the record is available. Now tell me, how can we track? How can we get each and every value? What we can do? Whenever it is written in the record, now this record starting memory address will be pointing to your variable, right? The starting memory address is pointing to your variable. Where it is available? ACC. Now this field is what? ID. This is what? Name. This is what? Rating. This is what? This is what? How can we access now? Now how can we access that? ACC dot ID, ACC dot name, ACC dot rating, ACC dot annual industry, ACC dot annual. That's it. Simple. Okay. So now here in this case, whenever I'm going to be collecting the data from the object by using SOQL queries, if the query returns only one record, then I'm going to be storing that record by defining the variable of that associated type. Okay. Now, in this case here, I want to know whether that query has written the record or not. I want to know that. How can we verify that condition? Now let me show you here. I want to write that piece of code. Okay. Now I want to specify. If the record has been getting written, I want to verify if ACC not equals to null. That means this ACC variable is having a record. That means that is not empty. That means query has written a record over here. If the record has been getting written, I want to show system dot debug. How can we show the record values? Record ID is, I want to show the record ID. How can we access? ACC dot ID. System dot debug. Name is, I want to show that ACC dot name. I want to get that information. System dot debug. I want to get the industry name. Industry is, I want to show that ACC dot like that. Simply you can able to fetch that information. Okay, clear? Now, so what are the steps over here? When coming to the SOQL query, SOQL query will be executing automatically because this is my static SOQL query. How do you know this is the static SOQL query? Because it has been enclosed in that square. So that automatically it will be executing by default. We no need to invoke that static SOQL query by our own, that will be executing automatically. Once the query has been getting executed, it will return the results over here. If the query returns only one record, then I would like to store that record result by defining a variable of the associated type. Once the record has been getting stored, then I am going to be collecting each and every field value by using that object name dot field name. We can able to collect that information and represent the data. Okay, clear? Understood the concept now? No. Next, come to the second case here. Okay, the second scenario. For example, assume that I am going to be writing an SOQL query to fetch the data from my account. Okay, I am writing an SOQL query. Select ID of the account, name, rating, industry, annual revenue, active status from account. So this is my SOQL query which I am trying to execute. For example, in my object I have 5 records now. In my object, I have 5 records. Then query returns how many records to you? 5 records. Because query is having the capability to return up to 50,000 records, but I'm having only some 5 records are there inside my object. Now, whenever I'm executing this query, the query will return 5 records. Then where we can store? How to store? List. Now, what kind of collection we need to use? List, or set, or map. List the collection, because SOQL queries are always returning the result in the form of list collection. Okay. If it is a single record, then we have to define the variable of the associated type. If the query returns more than 1 record, it may be 2, 3, 5, 10,000, whatever. At that time, we need to define that list collection. Now tell me, how can we define that? List of what? Account. Why account? Records are from account object. So that list of account. LSP accounts. Okay, LSP accounts. Clear? That's it. Simple concept. If the query returns a single record, define the variable of the associated type. Okay, define the variable of that associated type. If the query returns multiple records, then we need to define a list collection of that associated type. Okay. Now in this case, let's see. For example, my query is returning some records over here. My query is returning these records. These are the records my query will return over here. My query is returning these records. For example, 2 records it is returning over here. It is returning 2 records to me. This is the second record that we have. 001456. Name is some Sandeep. Rating value some 1. Industry some bank. Annual revenue some 23 lakhs. Active status some yes. Here we are having the value some X. How many records it is returning now? 2 records. Because my database object is having some 2 records. Now, if the query is returning 2 records, these 2 records will be storing where inside my collection. Now, how can we display the records? How do you know? Whatever the 2 records have been written by this SOQL query, now these records information is going to be storing into your variable. So now whatever the variable, whatever the collection you have defined, this memory will be finding into my collection. Okay. Now, how do you know? Now tell me. Now tell me how many records my query has written right now. How do we know? How can we get this one? LSP accounts dot size. Because whatever the 2 records are available, these 2 records are going to storing inside your collection. Okay, 2 records are storing inside the collection. So that to know how many number of elements are available, we are using the collection size. Now, so now here we are going to be indicating that. I want to show that collection size. System.debug collection size. Collection size I want to indicate. LSD accounts.size. So now here it is going to be returning that how many number of records are available inside my collection. Now we can able to see that number of records written by my SOQL. We can able to see that. Now I want to show those 2 records also. How? How can we do this one? Inside your collection, what we have records are available. How many records are there? 2 records are there. How to get each and every record? By iterating that collection. How to iterate the collection now? For loop. Now tell me how can we write that piece of code? First of all, I want to know. Collection may be empty also, I don't know. How can we verify? If If the collection is not empty. Okay. If the collection is not empty, then I would like to iterate that. How to iterate that collection here now? For loop. Now tell me. Then. So I'm using that colon. In the right side, what we can specify? LSD account. Every element is of type what? Account. Because in the collection, every element will be of type account. Because list of account. So now here we need to define a variable of type what? Account variable. Account ACC. Now, you got that account record here separately. Now, how can we get that account record information? ACC dot ID, ACC dot name, same process. We can go with that. System dot debug. We can show ACC dot ID. System dot debug. ACC dot name. System dot debug. ACC dot active status. Each and every field information we can able to collect over there. Okay, clear? Observe the scenario here. Now, so now whenever I'm going to be executing the query, these two scenarios will come into the picture. Query may returns one record, query may returns multiple records also. If the query returns single record, then we need to store the result, okay, by defining a variable of that associated object. Okay, because whatever the object from which you are collecting the data by using SOQL query, okay, based on that object here, define a variable here. If it is a contact object, define a contact variable. If it is a hiring manager object, define the hiring manager variable. So that depends upon the object name, define a variable. In that one, the record will be getting stored. From there, we can able to fetch each and every field value by using that object name dot field name. Suppose if the query returns so multiple records, then SOQL query is going to storing the records in the form of a list collection. If the query returns multiple records, the records will be storing inside the list collection of that associated type. Then from there, if you want to see how many number of records the query has written, we can able to use that collection because the data is stored inside the collection. From there, we can able to iterate. How to iterate? What fields are available? What methods are available? Everything you know that. As part of list collection, how to iterate that? How to use the methods? You know each and every concept. I want to know how many number of records are available. That means each and every record will be treating like as one element. Because here this is list of account. The complete account record is one element here. So now in this case, the first record will be one element, second record will be another element. So that two records are available. So it is written in the size as 2. Now, to get each and every record, I am using the for loop. I am verifying that the collection is not empty. Then only I am iterating that for loop here. I am iterating the collection from starting to ending. I am collecting each and every account record from my collection, and then I am going to be displaying those account record information by using system.debug statement. Okay, clear? Observe the concept here. These are the two scenarios. Upon using that SOQL queries, okay, query may returns one record, query may returns multiple records also. Okay, if the query returns one record, then we have to write the code like this. That means we need to define the variable of that associated type. If the query returns multiple records, then we have to define, okay, with the help of a list collection. We can't use map, we can't use set. Always it will be return type should be list collection. Okay, so that for the SOQL query, return type should be either a single object, it may be the list collection also. Okay, the query return should be the static SOQL query. This is also static SOQL, this is also static SOQL. Now, when coming to the static SOQL query, return type can be either a single object or it may be list collection. Okay, clear? Now, understood the concept now? Now let's make a note of this one. If the query returns only one record, if the SOQL query has been, if the SOQL query has returned only one record, only one record. As a result, then we need to store record by defining the variable of the associated type. Of the associated syntax. A subject data type. You can specify the object name or variable name equals to a SOQL query, which returns only one. Okay. Now, for example, account. Select ID, name, industry, annual revenue from account. We can verify that. Yes. ACC not equals to null if the record is not null. If the record has been written by that Salesforce, then I want to show that. System.debug. Account ID is, I want to show that. ACC.id. System.debug. Account name is ACC.name. System.debug. Annual revenue is ACC.annual. Like that, we can able to finish. Some example 2. Hiring manager. Some HR equals to, I'm fetching the data. Select ID of the hiring manager, name, location value, contact number from hiring manager. I want to show that if HR is not equals to null, then I want to show system.debug HR record ID, HR.id, system.debug name, HR. System.debug. HR.location. Like that. If the query returns only one record, then we need to collect that record information, and then I need to store that record by defining the variable of that associated type. Done? The second case, if the SOQL query returns the multiple records, then how can we handle it? We need to store those records in the form of a list collection. Okay. When the SOQL query returns more than one record, then we need to store the results by defining a list collection. List collection of the associated type. Syntax. List of yes object data type. You can specify the object name, write the SOQL query. For example, list of account. Let me take the lead. ID of that lead record, first name, last name, email, company, title, from leader. Then I would like to show system.debug number of records returned. Leads that starts. How many number of record that collection query has returned, we can able to see that. I want to verify. If LST leads is not empty. If the collection is not empty, I want to iterate the collection by using enhanced for loop. For each and every lead record, LST leads. I want to show the information. Lead ID is LD dot system.debug last name is lead dot last name. Email ID is company name is lead dot company. These are if the query returns multiple records, more than one, it may be 2, 3, 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 also. Always you have to go with the list collection. So that SOQL query will be returning the result in the form of either a single object or list collection. Done with this? So in the next session, we'll see how can we fetch the data from the object and how can we represent the records on our debug log file. We'll see practically in the next session. Next session will be on Sunday. Tomorrow you don't have the session. The classroom is not available. So Sunday we are having the session at 10:30 to 1. Okay. So we will have a continuation of this, the SOQL queries. How to prepare this SOQL queries, we'll see. Along with that, we'll see the multiple formats of writing SOQL queries. 3 styles are available. We'll see all the 3 styles. Along with that, we'll see how to apply the classes. Where class, group by, having, limit, offset, how to apply these classes. We'll see practically one by one. Okay.